not very bright. It's not very bright at all. Come on, brighten up, man. That's not bright. We're gonna have to brighten this thing up just a little bit. Hey guys, good to see you. Welcome to MD ASMR. I'm just gonna lighten up the room a bit, okay? Just a moment. All right. Always a professional start. Always a professional start for Fauxtaku Lounge and Nathan. I hope you guys can hear me. There are two of you. Supposed to be two of you. Ow. Okay, this ASMR thing's gonna be a little bit difficult. Just I got this right. Oh, okay. Because you're supposed to hear the mouth sounds. You're also supposed to be kind of a hot looking girl, so if the mouth sounds happen, you're not really annoyed by it. So guys can hear me in your right channel. By the way, you should have headphones on. Get some headphones on, man. Here, let me put it in the chat. And type. Got noise headphones and some. Alright, so that's cool. Guys, we got 3 people here. And Elaine Ozane says that he can hear me. He, I believe. I'm not very good with names. My own name, I don't. My daughter says she can tell if I'm Papa or Mommy. Bye, Martin. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. You can hear me in the left channel. This feels very nice. Unfortunately, now there's supposed to be some filters that I put on, okay? And if I have the filters on, you don't hear the air conditioning. But I don't know how to do that. I'm still a boomer as it goes. And the other thing is this. If I turn off the air conditioner, and I can turn off the air conditioner, the problem is this, that I'll be sweating way too much, and I don't think that with the sound coming out of the microphone right now, this whispering stuff, you want to see me sweating. There's a family channel as it is, so welcome. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start pretty soon, but I usually try to give about 5-minute leeway to everyone and try to entertain the people who are waiting. And the best thing I can think of today is perhaps another song. Yesterday I did Farm Boy by, wait, what was the song? It's John Denver. What's this? Just one more. I hear you, but if you're egoing to blow up my eardrum, if you're egoing, I hear you, but if you shout, yes, I will definitely do that. Okay. Usually really popular YouTube people do it, but this is my bid to be popular. You put ASMR in the title, and you move to the left channel, and and then to the right, and you should do it. You just gotta be a hot woman. So I'm working on that. I'm not working on becoming a hot woman, but I'm doing the left and right thing, and I got my lightsaber lit up there. But anyway, yesterday I did what intro songs were. I always forget the name of the song. John Denver's It's Not. Thank God I'm a Country Boy. Good song. And the other one I did, I don't remember what other song I did, but I wanted to do a little bit of one by, what's her name? It's called The Good Ship Lollipop. I don't remember all of it, but let's see if we can get it going. But I can't sing it out loud though because you guys are gonna blow your eardrums, so I will whisper it with a tune if I can. On the good ship, lollipop, it's a nice trip to the candy shop where bonbons play on the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay. If you eat too much, you'll awake with a tummy ache on the good ship, lollipop. Now that's another song that I learned in music class or whatever back in primary school. I can't carry a tune that well, but I do remember a couple of the songs in SRO radio and all that stuff. So anyway, it is now 5 minutes into this thing, so let's start the ASMR from Minidisc. Okay. That's a beard on the microphone. That's not kissing or licking the microphone. It's a family channel here anyway. So, guys, I'm gonna take some of my favorite MD players. One right now that I'm borrowing. You know what? I'll put that aside because Rock may come in later on. If he does, he will want to listen to this bad boy. All right. This is very difficult. First, I thought we would take this disc here. And I was thinking there's a couple of different ways we could do it. You could close your eyes and just listen to it. Lay back on your bed. Make sure there's a comfy pillow there. You've got earphones in both ears because it's stereo, 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 stereo. And then I will take an item like this and I will shake it. I will draw the item across the microphone from left to right. And I will switch some channels here. What? Oh, that's not. Yeah, that's locked. Oh yeah. What stereo's not working for you? Okay. Can you hear left channel? Martin. Anyone? Left channel. I need some feedback here. If you can't hear it, this is kind of screwed up. Left channel. Not working for you. That's we have one person saying stereo's not working. That's a line. Right channel. Left channel. Headphone. Oh shoot. We might have a fly in the ointment. This is not good. Not good. Guys, left channel, right channel, middle channel. There's actually a middle channel. Three. It's not stereo. It's three. Non-stereo. It's non-stereo. Shoot. Middle sounds different, and the left. So middle, right, middle, left. Seems mono. That's not good. And you know I don't really know how to fix that either. Okay, you know what? We're gonna put this on. This'll be called ASMR fail, something like that, because I don't know what I did to make it. Because I've got this set to just a moment here. You know what I'm gonna do? Because I'm listening back through the. You know what? Hey, just a moment. Just a moment. How do I do this? This is. Take your headphones off for just a second, okay? I don't have a mixed board, so take your headphones off. Take them out of your ears, okay? This is going well, man. This is going well. Okay, take off your headphones. On the microphone end, we have no problems here. So what's going on? What I'm gonna do, if guys, hey, just pretend something's happening. I'm gonna unplug the microphone for just a second, okay? All right, and then I'm gonna see if the output, but the output's already in stereo, so that doesn't make any sense. So it would have to be on the ADC, but I'm not gonna figure that out. But if there's no stereo, like what's the point of doing all this and all the mouth sounds, you know? All right, quietly. We're set to 24 decibels. I'm just gonna go down. Just go down. so prepared. Isn't it great to be just so prepared? Are the jacks full plugged in? They are full plugged in. They are full plugged in. Yeah. You know what? Just a moment. I'm gonna check the back of the helo. Okay, just a moment. Okay, don't look down. Don't look down. Look up. Think of England. Okay, look up and think of England. Are you guys thinking of England? This is such a failure. All right. Are the jacks full plugged in? They are full plugged in. I got a feeling. No, I'm just gonna play this quickly, okay? And if you hear stereo out of what did I do with it? No, Nathan, you're a failure. You have. What did you do? What did you do? All right, we're gonna take a random disc. No, there's no way your headphones suck, man. Play a disc. Oh, how do I do this? That doesn't make it. Okay, just a second, just a second. Take your headphones out. All right, I'm gonna do what Elaine says, and I'm gonna knock on the left. Right. Left. Right. Alright. How was that? Any feedback there? Any feedback, guys? Left, 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 left. Right, 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 right. The only thing I think of is that this cable is broken. That's why I connected it to the mini disc. To see if you guys could hear stereo. We are losing. Oh man, we're down to 3 listeners. 3 listeners. I'm losing the popularity contest. Against whom though? Who else is doing this? Who else is doing this? Mono! Alright guys. It's a failure. It's a failure. I'm gonna failure. We can't do mono. Mono doesn't work. Alright, you know what this is gonna be? This is gonna be ASMR failure. Nothing from the mini disc. Something's up. Something's so up. Something's really messed up. I'm getting lots of stuff from the mini disc. I can't figure this out right now. Oh, sounds good. Sounds good. gonna just do one more thing. You just sit there tight, sit there tight, sit there tight. All right, guys. All right, right. That's a right channel there. Right, left, right, left. Is the cable broken? Cable might be broken. Cable might be broken. Cable might be broken. No, it's a failure. It's just mono, and you guys are all in my mouth. You're not supposed to be in my mouth. You're supposed to be around my mouth. Okay, so what I'm thinking of is basically this is 2 failures in a row, man. 2 failures in a row. What is that? Who even does 2 failures in a row? All right, what I'm gonna do is gonna plug on this bad boy here. Or wait. That's it. You know what? We're gonna change things up. We're gonna change things up. We're gonna do ASMR after I figure this out. So it's gonna go to AMA. Just AMA. We're just gonna do AMA. All right. So hold tight for just a second. Hold tight for just a second. Stay there. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Okay. Just stay there. Stay there where you are. And I'm just gonna. Okay. Sound's gonna go out for a second. All right. Hey, guys. Can you hear? Can you hear? All right. This should. Just a moment. Just a moment. I failed again. Just a second. Just a second. Don't worry. All right. All right. All right. We're here. We're here. Is it too loud? Is it too loud? Hey, I only lost one guy from there. That's not so bad. Hey, the mic's on the top today. That's weird. All right, guys. Sorry about the failed ASMR. Rock will be happy because Rock was gonna. He was like, "Dude, I'm gonna miss it because I'm gonna be at dinner." And I brought his favorite, not his favorite. I bought, the MZR37 that he's loaned me. Thank you very much, Rock. You're not here, guys. We're gonna change the subject here. You guys know what ASMR stands for? I actually don't. All I know is that for a while it was kind of popular, like pretty girls going into the microphone. Levels okay? Levels, thank you very much, Elaine. It's very good to hear that the levels are. I keep hitting this with my hat. Buy a hat, by the way, $20 shipped to you, wherever you are. ASMR, it's something like acoustic. We have Google at our fingertips here. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Google. All right, let me see. I'm gonna have to use my fingertips. Wait, no, that's not. Uh, fingertips. All right, fingertips. ASMR, what stand for? Sounds much better now, right? Here it is, abbreviations.com. I don't, let's go Urban Dictionary, often a little bit better. Acronym is Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. All right. Everyone should remember that. Use that in your next conversation. And they say the sole purpose of ASMR is to relax people. The ASMR community, there's a community. I'm one of them. I wanted to be one, couldn't do it. Is constantly growing on YouTube. Ideally, ASMR videos are meant to give the viewer a relaxing tingle at the back of their head and or spine.
ASMR videos usually involve one or more of the following things: gentle whispering. Martin, I got that. Relaxing hand movement. Don't got that. Smacking the lips. Definitely got that. Nail tapping, scratching on hard surfaces as tables. Was going to do that with Minidisc. I did do the Minidisc across the unit. Something's not working there. Brushing sounds and etc. So I would say, as failures go, the only thing that I failed. Okay, there are two things. One was the stereo. One was the stereo wasn't working. The other thing uh, was the fact that my aircon you can hear. So, guys, I had nailed ASMR. Was doing pretty good. I was gonna say pretty damn good, but this is a family show, so I don't want to swear. Uh, but I failed, of course, the stereo and everything. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go beyond the ASMR. We're gonna come back to the ASMR. We're gonna call today's channel a. Pardon me, just a moment. Some fuzzy stuff. We're going to call today's video just AMA. Now, the problem is we got 6 people watching. If we could get that number up, they're probably like people like, they're like, oh, it's an ASMR video. And they come in and they're like, what? So imagine those. Yeah, see, 6, now it's 5. Dropped off. He's like, this ain't ASMR. And I'm sorry, it's not. I don't even know how to change a. How do you change the name of the thing? Anyway, can't change the name of it. Ask me anything. We have 2 people who are chatting in the comments, plus myself, which means that ask me anything is probably going to be over in 3 seconds. But we can do it. We can do it. Or I could randomly hit up the Minidisc forum and we could talk about topics there. Or go to Headfi. Someone actually put a thumbs up. Thank you, whoever that was. It's undeserved and deserved. It's deserved. Ah, yeah, we lost number one. All right, guys. Okay, Google and hey Siri. Gentlemen, ask me anything, AMA. Since you now know what ASMR stands for, let's ask me anything. Again, if it's over in 3 minutes, then we'll come back with another ASMR video when I figured out how to do ASMR. What I don't even know what happened. So, all right, Martin, ask me a question right now. You're not on the spot. No problem. No problems here. You're not a very good questioner. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna march over to the Minidisc forums just in case. There's people going, dude, you suck at this. And I'm like, yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. Is there a live chat? There's a live chat. Hey, Martin just sent me that on Facebook. That is cool. Martin, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, we're going over, man, the icon. I nailed the icon and everything. And freaking, I'm just going to say stereo, working, AMA. All right. What? Dante AMA. All right. I've got a lot of respect for these people that actually do this, you know, live and all that. Okay, Martin, is there a delay between the video and this live chat? We can test. Oh wait, how do we test that? Oh, I got my friend and I did this thing called 1 2 3 word. We can check this. I'll hit 1, and it'll come in there, and then you hit 2, and then it'll come in there, and I'll hit 3, and it'll come in there, and then we all try to type word at the same time. All right. So 1 2 3 word. All right. So then we check 1. I'm gonna do 2. You guys suck. 2. Wait, 3. Now we go word. Type word. If there's you can't do this with 2 people. Two active. You can't do this with 2 active people in the chat. It doesn't really work. But 4, and we also have some problems. We have some reading problems in this channel. Okay, all right, here we are. What is your favorite mini disc design of the discs? Hands down, hands down, Bianca. Why? Why, Nathan? Why do you like Bianca so much? Because Bianca is pure white. The reason why that's cool, well, on the back it's not. You can see clear. But if you're going to print labels and stuff on this, you don't have to compete with the innards of the MD for looking cool. This is just easy to. Well, it's not pure white. There's a little bit of yellow in it, especially over the years. Uh, but it's about as close to white as you can get. Because of that, if you're going to print labels on it, and I don't print labels on it, but when I see labels printed on Minidisc, Bianca, I think looks the best. So Bianca is my favorite. However, my most used one is definitely Neige Huh, interesting. Got another Bianca here. Where's my Neige is my most used one. However, I don't actually have a Neige with me at the moment. It's probably in hey, we can play a game. We can play a game here. Since Elaine, you if you got a Elaine, thank you for putting a 4 in there. Martin, thanks for saying word. But look, it went 1, 2, 3 word, 2, 3, 4 word. All right. Well, Lane, how about this? I'll ask you guys questions since we got 3 people in the chat. You can't have a real AMA there. I was hoping to drag everyone in through the AMSR, and then they'd be like, "Man, let's do ASMR about Minidisc." Oh, yes. But what we're gonna do is this. Martin, what was your first Minidisc player? No, I asked you. You asked a question already. Elaine, what was your first Minidisc player or recorder? Portable or otherwise? Tell me. Yes, neige is snow in French. That's right. It's one of the few French words I know. As a Canadian, I know cereal box French. So anything that's on the back of a, nutrition information, whatever's on advertising, I'm basically fluent in that stuff. But put me in front of literature, something that matters, couldn't tell you, couldn't tell you anything. All right. So we got Elaine answering Neige snow in French. His first was the MZN3. N3. N3. MZN3. NH3D. MZ3. MZ3. There we are. Very nice unit. Very clean. They cleaned it up, stretched it out, longed it out. Great. What do you find about are you using that thing with headphones or in your car or with speakers? How are you using it? Martin's button in here. Martin didn't ask you any questions yet, man. Didn't ask you any questions. Of course, Elaine is he's taking his time with typing, so I understand why Martin's trying to button in there. MZN3, MZ3. I've only ever touched one. I've never owned one. I had an MZ. Wait a second here. Yeah, I've touched one. I've never owned one. Pretty solid player. I do have on my table, by the way. It's a little bit heavy. MZ1. It's got basically the full alphabet there for titling. It's pretty cool. Get about an hour battery life on the original batteries, which I'm sure you guys have used these things. The battery is almost the size of an MZR55. A little bit bigger than half. It's heavier. That's pretty cool. All right, Martin, we'll get to your thing. We'll get into your thing because Elaine's he's taking his time answering some questions. That's all right. Martin, what'd you say? My first MD player was the E60 or 62 in silver, year 2000, I believe. I bought it together with an MDS JE30. Oh, disc error. What's that? Sorry. Do you ever record from Spotify? No, I don't. I've never used Spotify. I would like to. Oh, but hey, check this out. Hey, wake up. Wake up. Dude, what's going on? Dude. Looks like the battery's like totally gone. I was gonna show off some cool MZ1 tricks, but guess I won't be doing that. All right, stack up these questions. Do you ever record from Spotify? No, I don't. Do you ever record? Do you record to MD currently? And if so, what is the workflow? Man, the workflow is like this. I generally, it depends. When I had what was that cool thing that did the titling? It wasn't the Sony one. Was it Marantz? I think it was a Marantz unit CM6200, I think, or 6002. That thing, you could have a CD. I had a CD and I had MD, and it transferred the text. So generally, what I did was I recorded a playlist in iTunes, and then I exported that to a rewritable burnable CD, and then that unit read our CDRWs very well. So I put that in there, and then I put in a mini disc record or 4 times dubbing or 2 times dubbing, whatever it was, and it transferred everything all in one go. Sounded great. Today I don't have that unit. That thing's way too big for my desk, so I got some smaller stuff. So I use an Onkyo or a Sharp, like that one that you saw yesterday. Martin didn't see it because it was too early for him. If you can see, Martin, see my finger right there, right at its belly button. That is a Sharp SD VH90, I think it was, is what it's called. And that bad boy does Super Audio CD, DVD audio, CD, DVD video, and mini disc. And you can record from anything basically. And so you put in a CD or an SACD or anything like that, and you can record your mini disc. Of course, later on you have to title. Um, but I find that when I record from the computer, and I have a very nice, here I'll show you the ADC and DAC. It's what I use to record the outputs of these units. So you're like, hey, why does this guy have all these recordings? Well, I'll show you what I do it with. It's Lynx Studio Hilo. Ah, what? Lynx Studio Hilo. There we are. I found the website. Um, that's not. There's some okay photography here. Products. Hilo. Hilo's a great. Fully comes with my recommendations. I borrowed this thing when I was working or writing for Headphonia, and then I loved it so much through writing the review, through borrowing it, that I ended up purchasing one. And it's not cheap, man. I can't remember if I got a discount. I probably did get like a tax discount, so like 10% off, and it still costs like $2,600 with the Thunderbolt upgrade. I'll do my Headphonia review in there as well, just so you. Oh, the Lynx Halo. Here we are, Halo. Reviews. This is. It's got a very nice headphone amplifier with a little bit of noise in it, but it's basically generally like going to top out at above 16-bit audio spec. That's a review. So the second link that you see is a review. The first one is just the link to the product. Like I said, I borrowed it. I didn't get any incentive to to write well about it. But once I borrowed it, I was like, wow, I'm just gonna see how it handles my music and see how it handles certain recordings, how it handles, back from analog to digital and all that. And the whole, I love that thing. It's expensive. It's always hidden. It's rock solid. You can change it out. So I've got a Thunderbolt card. It used to come with, I think, just a regular USB one. There's several different cards you can upgrade with. There's even one for Thunderbolt 3. Anyway, if I record optically out of that, of course, the sound is amazing. You can dither down to 16, go all the way up to 24, 192. You can do DSD over DOP and all that stuff. You can do everything, whatever you want with it, all native. But when I do that, and anytime I use optical, even from this, let's see if I can get it. Sony. This is another thing that I use for convenience sake. It's called a Sony. Let's see if I can read it. PCLKMN10. This here has both analog output as well as optical output, and you fire it through USB-A. It's been around basically forever, and Sony brought it out so you could use it with your computer way back in the day. I use that, or I use the Hilo. Both give great optical recordings. However, track marks don't follow very well. They, even if a song switches over. So the reason why I use one of these combo units is I put the CD in, I make a track list, even if the text doesn't transfer with like the sharp over there or the onkyo here. At least the track marks do. So later on, I can easily title stuff. So that's what I'm staying with CD basically. All right, that was a long-winded answer. Um, Elaine has a question. Do you still record and listen to music with MIDIs? Yes, my friend. Of course, yes, I do. I love to do that. I record probably not as often as Martin. He's got like three drawers full of discs, but I record with I don't know, at least weekly 2 or 3 discs. So that's not a whole lot, but yeah, I've got, I don't know, probably just 40 or 50 discs, and I tend to, not like some of these guys do, I tend to add whatever I'm listening to on sort of a bunch, maybe 10 or so scratch discs, which I'll just kind of like put like a quick label on, rather than printing everything out and keeping it for posterity. So I'm not quite the big old, not big old, but like the big dedicated guy that Martin is. Sorry about that, Martin. But yeah, so that's my question for that. Yeah, love mini disc, man. In fact, it came up in my comments earlier. Someone's like, uh, if you're not liking the Sony ZX300, like, what are you listening to recently? And I, before I had time to answer it, and it's not like this channel's huge. Someone was like, Minidisc, dude, of course. So Minidisc, yeah, Minidisc, Minidisc, Minidisc. Cheers, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Martin does the same thing. Yeah, you got scratch discs. And it allows you a whole bunch of freedom, which is really cool. Uh, yeah, I have a feeling this AMA, because the ASMR didn't go quite as I wanted, isn't going to go so long. But we'll just see. We'll just see how questions filter in here. Elaine, do you know about the new program Platinum MD better than Sonic Stage? Yeah, yeah, I do. I've used it. I'm not an expert at it, and I was not an expert at Sonic Stage back in the day. I used Sonic Stage with RH910, I think it was, or maybe RH10, the one that had the OLED screen that doesn't really work for a lot of people anymore. I hated Sonic Stage. Now I have a Mac, so I can't use Sonic Stage. I do have what is it called? VMware, not VMware, virtual disk, virtual something like that, virtual Windows. And so I can boot up Windows anytime I want, and I could install it if I want, but I don't. I find Platinum MD is pretty damn good. I do find that there are maybe some problems with gapless. However, I'm mainly doing recordings in real time from CD to MD, so it's pretty cool. Let's see, worst and best players and recorders. There's let's see here. Yesterday, Martin, when you weren't here, I was chatting up Sharp Alvi players. Now, that said, Sharp Alvi has so many problems. It's kind of worth it and not worth it to ever even look at it. But what I find the best sounding, hey, look at that. This is so meta. It's got the screen. Is it endless? Does it go endlessly in? See myself and I see myself in myself in myself. Um, this is the MDDS55. Was a later generation, but not a last generation Sharp Alvi player. It I can test it out to 90 decibels of stereo, 96 decibels of dynamic range, and all that in test files. It's got zero hiss, zero background hiss. It's as good as any high-end DAP for hiss. Output power is going to be a little bit lower than a smartphone, but just a little bit lower. Zero hiss, excellent, excellent performance. Driving headphones. Uh, of course, you have to have balanced. If you don't have balanced, you're going to get no stereo. You're going to get like the ASMR that we were doing earlier. You're like, it's mono, man. I'm in your mouth. Well, you're going to be in the mouth of every singer and every band and everything if you don't use balanced headphones and balanced wiring with this thing. But if you do, incredible, absolutely incredible. And that's player. They Alvi is not across the board perfect. I think I have one article at Om Image. I don't know if I can find it. Om Image Sharp Alvi. Do that on Google. Um, there was one that's horrible. Or I bet you I don't have it. Um, I think it was called the DP. It's something with 700 in it. 700 is part of the name. It's an Alvi player. It looks awesome. It's got a one-touch eject button on the side. It's a round button. Um, and it's horrible. It's got more hiss than anything I've heard in the MD world, essentially. And well, I don't know. There might be a couple of older ones that hiss as bad as it, but it's just rubbish. It's complete rubbish. It's got so much background noise that you're going to hear not only hiss, but you're going to hear like the mechanics and all that whirring through your headphones. I found that it didn't do a good job of holding signal to noise and all that. It was just horrible. Maybe I didn't publish a thing. Anyway, that thing's horrible. It's amazing that the same line, Alvi, can have the worst and the best I've ever heard. And just so you guys know, Alvi and 1-bit doesn't mean the amplifier, doesn't mean that there's like one stock thing that they use. It's very obvious, even through just just listening through your headphones or your sensitive earphones, that you're getting completely different amplifiers and possibly even different DACs between generations for sure. So the first generation recorder was a DR7, and that one's good, but you're going to get hiss through it. and it cannot hold load if you've got a multiple driver earphone, or even if you have an earphone that's highly sensitive or goes down in terms of load into like 2 to 4 to 6 ohms like that. If it gets down like that, holding bass, you're going to lose your bass. But later generations, not all of them, like because whatever that 700 one, which looked awesome, didn't do it. But this one is basically perfect. So the Alvi, it's just a name, just like Sony's. What is it? Where's it? It's right here on the back. Uh, Digital amp doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're getting a digital amp that's used across the units. It's some sort of digital amp, probably some sort of AB amp, could be a D amp like that. And if it's D amp, there's myriad options that can be put into a player that's as small as that. And usually those amps are made because they're small and they don't use a lot of battery life. So it doesn't mean they're good. But the Alvi stuff, it goes down to the balanced and it goes down to the 1-bit decoding. And yeah, worst and the best, Sharp, that whatever that DP 700 or SP 700, whatever that was, and then the best one, the DS55 for recorders. Uh, hmm, it'd have to be Sharp again, because half of my recorders are dead if they're Sharps. Every other company, it's like maybe 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 is broken, but Sharp, half of them are gone. Their players seem to hold up a little bit better, but their recorders, half are gone, dead, talk errors, or other sort of self destruction stuff. Maybe you can fix them. I don't have the skills. I also have a slight tremor. So if I had the skills, I'd still probably have to hire someone like Martin to fix it. So yeah, Sharp, absolutely. Like their 702s, their what was it, MS 15, 15, I can't remember. All of them, they have cool sound. A lot of them have great button layout, but they just broke, and I hate that. Um, I guess that's a good. Is that a good answer, Martin? Uh, right. We're gonna go. We're gonna skip ahead to Elaine. 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 I don't know how to say it. I wish we could like get the voice. Someday I'll figure this out, by the way, and we'll be able to like have a debate with somebody who'll be like, "Minidisc sucks," and I'll be like, "I kind of agree, but don't agree." And it's the best, and you suck, and then we can like blood sport it out. Elaine asks, so for you, Alvi is actually better. Like I said, depends. The best and the worst. The DR7 is excellent. A little bit hiss, doesn't drive things the best. DR77, every unit I've ever had broke. Sounded good though until it broke. The players, generally excellent, um, but they're also a little bit on the iffy side in terms of build quality, because I've had a couple of Alvi players break. This one is great. I actually got a backup of it because I love it so much. So I got 2 of them in blue. Yeah, so Alvi, yeah, for sound quality, if you're an MD, I believe that a good Alvi unit is the best that is on the market. Alvi for life. That's not their slogan. They should have done. They ruined their marketing. Here, let's see here. Martin asks, how do you rate the recorders from Sharp versus say Sony? Different ATRACs, or is it licensed and very similar? From what I understand, they use different ATRACs. Although I'm not sure across the board that wasn't the case, because there was different licensing sharing. There was different licenses shared between different companies. Panasonic appeared to have a different ATRAC. Kenwood, Pioneer, all those guys, JVC, Victor, they used, I believe, Sharp, and I think they might have licensed someone else earlier on. Iowa, of course, used Sony's, as far as I understand. I don't really hear a difference between them. In fact, if you go back even to prior to 1998, there may be a difference between ATRAC R and ATRAC 4 or whatever it was, 4.5. But you really have to know what you're listening to, even then, to find the difference. And even going back to like ATRAC 1, or was it? I can't remember what it was called, the original one. Uh, it sounds pretty good. You're losing a little bit more information, but it sounds good. Um, and some people actually like it better. Uh, Sony, of course, marketed, I think it was ATRAC from ATRAC 3. They're like better than DAC or better than DAT, and it's like, come on, man, it's just impossible. But yeah, I don't really bother so much about ATRACs. Even high MD. I mean, sounds great, but you know, I'm not sure if it really sounds better. than a Sharp recording, or another one played back in something like this. And the reason is, if you're going to go portable, at least uh, HiMD has one very high quality playback device, and that is the MZE H1. Apart from that, they're good, but they don't hold a candle to the Sharps. More hiss, they don't hold the signal as well. Even the EH1, I think is what it's called. That really slim one that was that went $1,700 recently on Yahoo auctions. Even that one, uh, the signal wasn't fully stable until you plugged in some sort of load, high or low. And then after that, there was a little bit of hiss and sometimes a little bit of mechanical noise. So even if the recording itself is better, if you're listening to high quality headphones or earphones, you're gonna get noise in there that kind of mitigates all of the advantages that you get from high PSM recordings. So I swear on something like this, no noise from the line, no noise from the amp, no noise from the mechanical innards. So if you want the best quality and still use Minidisc on the road, Sharp MD DS55 Alvi. Boom. Let's see. What do you got here? Elaine is asking one question. 1-bit technology was not used in Sony players. It was actually. It was. They just didn't really bother talking about it much. Iowa used it, and if Iowa used it, Sony used it because Iowa, unless I'm, they used it maybe not in their portables, but they used it in their in a lot of. There's a lot of desk units that used 1-bit technology. 1-bit technology is just I don't know that much about all that stuff, but it's not necessarily better. In fact, there's more noise apparently in the signal, and there's stuff they have to do to get rid of the noise. So whatever. But that's just the decoding stuff. I think it sounds great how Sharp done it if you do balanced. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Do you think the loudness wars of the last 15 years could have been avoided, or this loudness compression was inevitable? You know what that's like asking? That's like asking. So I'm trying to think of one of those political compass questions. One of the questions was like, should religion be taught in school, in public schools? And I was like, no, but I also not sure that people should be forced to go to public school. So the question from my mind was like, it's kind of off in the beginning. That's kind of a weird way of kind of relating to this question. But basically, I think that the loudness wars were obviously inevitable. People are no longer listening to music that has any sort of dynamic range at all. And if you're not listening to music that has dynamic range, you have to basically boost up the entire volume because you don't have much difference between the smallest sound and the loudest sound anyway. So why not just make sure it's all loud? If you have a high dynamic range, you have to be able to hear the tiniest sound as well as the loudest one, sometimes within the span of a second or two. And in order to do that, the whole recording, I mean, it's basically classical and maybe some jazz and stuff like that. So once music became modern, uh, yeah, it was inevitable, absolutely inevitable. Abandon tradition and you abandon everything, says me. Yeah, it was inevitable, absolutely. To use players with remotes when out and about? No, I don't. I don't. I hate remotes. The reason, especially, is because now this is the one. This is so frustrating. Why is it that players don't have displays on them? I know why, to keep it small, and it's funny. I'll tell you why it's funny. Let's see if I can find it. My desk is a total mess right now. Currently, this is a compact DAP. This is a Cohen Plenu R, and next to a Sony recorder, it's a little. That's about as long, not as fat. It's a little bit, maybe roughly as heavy, roughly, I guess. Um, but back when Minidisc was basically the reason why you carry a Minidisc is because you wanted something small, compact that sounded like a CD. And all these Minidisc companies, except for Sharp right at the end, they started making bigger and bigger recorders. But the players got tinier and tinier, and there was only like a couple of players, if I remember correctly, that even had some sort of display, and none of them that I ever used could show the title or anything like that. So you had to use a remote. But if you have a nice pair of headphones and you plug it into a remote, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna order a special half-length cable or cut mine off and then resolder it just for that? I don't know. So it's kind of a bugger. I can't see the song titles. However, if I think about how I used to listen to my portable CD player, I was never worried about the titles on it because there were no titles on any of the CDs that I had. So it's kind of just a first world or modern problem to think about having the titles always there. Of course, and if you're using your smartphone, you always know that. So yeah, no, I is if I know there are 12 songs on that album, then I can, click 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 if I want. Or sometimes I'll even record without track marks and just go straight through back like the days, when you had a cassette tape. Because those cassette tape people, they're like, when you moved to CD, man, people just bought it to listen to one song. That's not cool, man. And it's there's some truth to that. And certainly with smartphones, you pull playlists from different albums. But with yeah, so there's a whole modus operandi behind that for using a remote or not using a remote. But no, I don't. That was a long answer. Um, let's see where are we. Martin, do you use a player's remotes? No. Answer that. How do you rate recorders? Okay. All right. Okay, we're catching up here. We are catching up. You guys are actually doing a really good job, by the way. Thank you very much. Two of you guys. There's 6 people listening. They're like, "Where's the ASMR?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know where it is. We'll find out. Maybe someday." Let's see. Elaine, one big technology was not used. Ah, right. You asked that, and I think I answered that kind of with talking with Martin. I'm not the biggest MD like know it all out there. I would imagine the guy that runs Minidisc.org, if he still cares, uh, maybe he forgot everything. Knows a hell of a lot more. Rock. Oh man, I swore. Family show. Rock probably knows more than me. Martin, in like 3 more weeks, will triple my knowledge. Um, Nick Nicholas Liddington, he's basically an encyclopedia. Then there's Fuji Glick, Glitch. He's silent but deadly. That guy, he probably has every player that was ever created in every color. That's probably taken apart and put them back together. This wine. ASMR. All right, let's see here. Can you hear a difference between CD and MD? If so, MD and high IMD, PCM. This is like the dreaded question that, if you're talking a lot about signal to noise ratio and dynamic range, and you have a whole section of your website dedicated all that, you never want to answer. And if you never want to answer this, probably the best way to answer it would be to lie, but I don't want to lie. So I will say I've never really compared them back to back. The reason is I found that there's, oh my gosh, that looks like spam. Pardon me. The reason is this. Uh, Sometimes when you are recording a CD or you have a CD and then you put it onto mini disc, there can be some sort of, pardon me, I'm going to take some coffee just to wash down the wine. Whatever. There is a little bit something in here. No, this is totally not ASMR. Sorry, ASMR spam guy. We failed. But there can be volume differences. So if you're recording an MD from a CD or from other source, you can have volume differences. And in order to, I don't know how you do it, to absolutely level everything exactly the same, so you could compare CD to MD directly back to back, same volume, exact time, have it randomized, have an ABX test. I don't have the expertise to ensure that there's not a volume difference between the two. If there's a volume difference every single time, even if it's a half decibel or 1 decibel, anything that's louder will always sound better as long as the recording is decently okay. So that's my way of saying, no, I cannot hear a difference between the two. I have not compared them directly. I mean, I have listening to a CD and then listening to the MD recording of it, but I have not compared the two in a way that's scientific and repeatable. And I don't know how. So I will say, no, I cannot hear a difference between the two. Oh, hey, oh, maybe you guys can't see the ASMR thing. That's awesome. Maybe I can just delete it. Oh, can you do that? Put user in timeout. Report. Add moderator. If I add the ASMI spam guy to moderator, what would happen? I don't know how to do this. All right. Anyway, next question. I only listened to music from 20 years ago. Martin, yeah, not even some Time Cop 1983. It's pretty good stuff, man. Pretty good stuff. PCM, yeah, PCM covered that. Sir Jeff, Sir Jeff, thank you for coming in. Did we see you yesterday? I don't have a lot of people watching this channel, so I should remember names. Sir Jeff, if I didn't, if we met yesterday, I'm sorry for saying, did I see you? What do you feel about Sharp's earlier 24-bit portables? Uh, okay, Sharp portable recorders. I like the sound. They often break. Sometimes the button array is insane. I thought that a lot of them earlier Sharps, they didn't think about how to design a player to be easily operable by one hand. Instead, they thought, how can I make the wave pattern incorporate buttons in it? And I don't like that. But Sharp got better as time went on in terms of making something that was easy operable, either one hand or two handed, and give it some sort of logical, operable button layout. But earlier ones I felt were not. Actually, some of their early ones were decent, and then the ones from like 1998 to 1999 were decent, and then they kind of before that went down, and it was kind of an iffy time. And the ones that they sold to JVC and Kenwood were had the worst button layouts I've ever. Let's see, I do have a Sharp here. Sorry, it's a Pioneer, but it is a Sharp. Um, this one's actually not bad. So you have uh, stop and play and pause right here. That's all right. And then you have track forward and track back. But you have a bigger thing for volume plus and minus, but they're so close, it's hard to tell where they are. Then record, there's no lock on it. Enter and sync, again, there's no locks on any of these things. Display's way up here, not near the display. Character, why is it not down here? There's just a lot of really bad layout problems with earlier Sharps that I don't like. The sound, however, especially these things, most powerful sound out of an MD player, apart from perhaps the MZ1. Oh, of course, this is much larger, but this thing, I definitely have to set the Lynx Hilo when I'm recording sounds from it to +6, and it will basically go all the way up to +6, which is they're so powerful that you can take them. And Rock did this. Rock from the Minius forum. He met me at a headphone show a year ago, roughly, and he brought his Minidisc stuff, and it was amazing watching people just go. "Oh, that's so cool." And I brought my Minidisc stuff too, and they didn't do that with me, but he was obviously a better evangelist. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Sharp's early ones, powerful. Button array, strange. Sound was good, but there's more hiss, and also as with most of them until later on with the AUV stuff, if you plugged in a pair of headphones, generally you'd lose bass or something else because they didn't have enough current in the signal or current to voltage ratio. So you lose stuff. Let's see here. Anything else? We got. I listened to music from 20 years ago. Martin, we answered. We talked about that. Yeah, yeah. Generally, you know what? I do too. I feel like I haven't really grown up. I found the music that I love today back when I was 18. I went to a Depeche Mode concert in Toronto in 1998 when I would be 19 years old, I guess. I still listen to them. I still like U2. I know they're, people are like, U2. But I love them. Like Metallica still. I even like the Eagles, like some sappy stuff. Love John Denver. I do like some new music. Time Cop, love that. Uh, I listen to Vivaldi, listen to a bit of classical here and there, a little smarmy. When I talk up with the other audiophiles, I got to make sure I can use some language that insists that I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I basically haven't grown up from my musical taste since then. And I love trance. I discovered trance in 99 or 2000 and was basically listening to only trance until about 2010. And I was known at Headfi as the trance guy that hears his everywhere he goes. Martin, I cannot really hear a difference between CD and MD, ATRAC 4.4, 4.5 and above, and high quality MP3 AC. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I don't even know if there's a way to properly level all the files so you get the exact same volume. I don't know if there's a way to properly test it. Anything that sounds louder, as long as the recording is decent, is going to sound better. So, it could be that your PCM recording is 2 decibels quieter than like a lame ripped 128 MP3, and it's not going to sound as good as the lame then. That's just how it is. Align, one thing I cannot understand how first player can play MIDIs recorded with later compression mode ATRAC. Yeah, that's cool, eh? It's backwards compatible. Um, as far as I've seen, yeah, they're backwards compatible. It's truly incredible. Let's see if the come on, where's the disc? The disc. Oh, this thing's not working. Oh man, we got a problem here. I wanted to show you. This is a recording I did with the most recent. Okay, we're having a problem here. That's a shame. That is a shame, but it happens. It says disc is inside. There's no disc, man. There's no disc. There's no disc. Wake up and it's not on hold. Man, that sucks. I just fixed that. I actually fixed it. I took it apart and I did the Martin thing and I fixed it last year. Placed a display as well. I feel like I actually accomplished myself, or was accomplished. Accomplished myself. Whatever. I accomplished something. Uh, let's see. Martin, Depeche Mode, some great dynamic range in there. Love it. I won't comment on YouTube. That's all right, man. I know. I know that U2 gets people's gizzards or gets them other places. Some people that like them. By the way, I do prefer U2 from prior to 1997. Zooropa being my favorite album. So that was 1993. So try that out. Love Michael Jackson, by the way. R.I.P. man. And it looks like we're at the bottom of the list. Bottom of the list. No super chats. Come on, guys. Just kidding. It's a tough time. It's a tough time. I hope all you guys are, I know that got another. We had a Fujifilm live stream a couple of weeks ago, and a bunch of photographers chimed in. They're like, "Yeah, my business is gone. It's just gone." And so I'm a photographer as well. I have a magazine shoot that I'm finishing. Well, actually, I finished the entire leg yesterday. I'm gonna actually reshoot a couple of things, and there's a couple more coming next week. But my events are gone, just gone completely. That's it. Like, and there was a new thing I was trying to open. It's gone. That's it. So I'm actually at the point where I'm like, well, if this thing ever ends, if we're able to go outside and people are allowed to, if they're not protesting, if they're allowed to just like hang out, will there be the new leg of my work that I was hoping to open? I very much doubt it. If so, then yeah, I'm going to be one of those people who's be like, oh, okay, what do I do? you know, yeah. So I hope I'm not begging. I'm not begging for super tap to it, super tap. But I know everyone's got some trouble here. I know one of my long-term supporter of mine. He had some trouble recently, and just everyone's got everyone's got some trouble. So that is rubbish right now. Depeche Mode. Sir Jeff, I have the MS722 and the MT190. I wasn't here yesterday. Ha ha ha. Maybe the name's familiar because I commented on your first MD video. Sir Jeff, that may be it. MT190, by the way, pretty cool player. What do I? Is that what I have here? No, it's not. I've got the MT88, I believe it is. MT99. Yeah, Sharp had some pretty cool ones, and I think they sort of perfected their prior to Auvi form, basically right around 1999 and 1998. They didn't really get better or worse at that time, but they came out with some extremely ugly but powerful and formidable players around that time and recorders. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for them. And the MS722, I think I've got. Man, this desk needs to be cleaned up. I had one here. It's buried. Buried. Wait, wait, wait. Ah, I'm sorry. 702. 702. Sorry about that, man. 722. I had a junk version the other day. Broke it. Or not broke it, but I sold it. It's gone. Someone actually bought a junk unit. People do that. Sometimes yeah, anyway, people buy junk ones to I bought some junk ones to get some parts and stuff like that. So yeah. Martin, that MT player is an interesting design with the AA caddy built in. Yeah. I showed this to Martin. He was asking me like what do you recommend? I was like, this is a cool one because it's got instead of using a proprietary like gumstick battery, you've got the AA built in right there. And the first thing he said was, "That's an ugly boy," and it is. This is an ugly recorder. It is ugly as heck, but great battery life, uh, good sound, not great sound, It's got basically all the bells and whistles. Doesn't have a line out, but it's got all the bells and whistles that you want. It's got the horrible, horrible, sharp button array here, like bass, display, edit, charge, and mode here. Play, pause up here. Volume down and up here. So it's not vertical. And it's got track forward and track back here. But it's easy to accidentally press anything there. This is a horrible design. It's sharp. It's sharp par excellence, or sans excellence, if you ask me. Best thing about AA batteries is that they are everywhere. Absolutely, man. The 702 was the dream play recorder I wanted when I released. The style was perfect. You know, the style is pretty damn cool. It does a slot loading. Uh, it's got a big colored button for play and for stop. I think that's pretty cool. Volume on the inner side. So blindly, you can be like, okay, outside is for play, inside is for volume. And then, you know, you have your other tracking stuff here. Generally, really well designed. And you got your talk errors. So it's a cool looking player, easy to use, not reliable. All right, not that we can go anywhere to buy them or use players, but that's a COVID-19 life. That is a COVID-19 life. Gotta say though, here in Japan, people are a little bit, at least in my province or prefecture, not mine, but the prefecture I live in. People, you know, you can tell some people are hiding themselves in, duct taping the doors and all that, and someone siphons water underneath like that. But some people, like I had a barbecue today. I went to a barbecue, friend's house up in the mountains. It was awesome. Hoping hope I don't have a cough. Sharp 702 was my second player. Yeah, man. We're all linked together by the 702. It looks like Martin is, Aline is, and Nathan is, and Jeff has the MS 722. He's like looking down on us. He's like 702. 702. I've got the 722. And that's about it. Unless we have any more questions, guys. Gone on for about an hour. The ASMR totally failed. We'll try again. We'll try again. I'll have to amend the title of this when I finally get this, or when we log off or whatever. Um, yeah, sorry about that, but we'll try. We'll try because I know right here. This is all. This is you're not in my mouth, which is good, but this is just regular microphone. Sounds all right. Where do you place Panasonic's players? You know this, man. You know this. Okay, how many times have I evangelized Panasonic's SJ17 to you? How many times? How many times? One, two, or three, or more. Come on, Martin. Be honest with me. Has it been more than one time? About 17 times. Yeah, for the SJ17. They are hit and miss in some ways. But Panasonic, I don't have my Panasonic recorder right here, do I? Do I? Do I? Wait. No, that's not it. That's my backup of my backup. My backup, my backup. Must be in my other drawer. Okay. Uh, Panasonic, good, not excellent, good current to voltage ratio. So you plug in a pair of earphones, and like the SJM17 is basically flat. There's a little bit of a dip down in bass and a little bit upper in the upper mids, but just you won't be able to hear it. It's tiny. Uh, Noise floor is low. It would be a little bit higher than a Sony MZ NH1, of which of course is their second to last generation. So very good, very good. It's thumbs up. Uh, and I wish I had it here to point out all the stuff. It's like I said, it's in another box. Uh, the button array is easy to use. It's generally solid. Actually, the button array is probably the best on a player I've used. It has a light to show you that it's working, and you basically have play, stop, track forward, back, and then you have volume on the side. You can use it blind. It's amazing. Sound is good. Battery life is good. Amplifier's weak, really weak, and the Panasonic amplifiers, just that's a problem. They are weak sauce. When I plug in my Hilo to record the signal, I have to go not only to 0 decibels, which is the loudest, not gain, but it's the loudest setting, and then still the player's probably giving me like 5 decibels below zero. So it's just horror. They're just weak. But if you're using just sensitive earphones, it's pretty good. It'll more than do you. Um, and their battery doors are horrible. They're one piece, maybe I don't know. It looks like copper or something like that, but it's one piece and it's weak, and a lot of them break. Sometimes the bodies themselves aren't quite as robust as Sharp. Now the thing is, the Sharps break more often than Panasonics don't. Uh, so whether or not the battery there matters, or if the body seeming to be solid matters at all in the long run, is a good question. I've had one Panasonic break and another one which was treated very poorly broke, but the rest of them work perfectly fine. The recorders, oh man, the S MJ SR 100, I think is what it is. I wish I had it in front of me. That thing you can title instantly. It's incredible. The way they've set up the character, so for titling for capital and then going down to small letters and then changing from content, all that is really quick. And you can quickly edit in the line that you've already done. And there's, I think, up to like 50 or 100 characters per, I'm probably getting that wrong, per line. Really great for editing. Their ATRAC codec seems perfectly fine. Battery life's good. Yeah, I love their recorders. Love their recorders. Love their recorders. But they did some weird interface stuff where they had kind of a touch bar, kind of like not like the modern touch bar where it's haptic or no capacitive. It's like the old style we had to press down. Um, and they were experimental and they were interesting, but they weren't terribly reliable. After the R100, whatever it is, SR100 or R100, after that one, or MR100, whatever it is, after that one, I think they went downhill. And a lot of them later on, they even made on the unit, in order to be as slim as possible, they went from a 3.5 output to a 2.5. So you couldn't even use your favorite earphones. Horrible. And of course, it wasn't balanced. It was just 2.5 stereo. Rubbish. That's it. All right, no more questions. Guys, thank you very much for somehow staying with me for this entire time, even though I failed the ASMR thing. Thank you very much. What's this? Final one, MZNH1. What's the question? What is it? Where does it fit in the hierarchy? Oh, dude, he swore. Oh, man, he swore. Martin swore. This is a family show, guy. It's a family show. Lots of families tune in to listen to Minidisc content on Tuesday night during COVID-19. They're not watching Netflix. Now they see that word. Maybe they see it. Is the MZNH1 rated highly by yourself? If it weren't for certain Sharp AUV units having lower noise floors and better stereo separation, I consider that the end game portable mini disc recorder. Why? It performs as well or slightly better than the RH1. It's more robust than the RH1. You're not going to have broken forward and back levers. The battery compartment is better. Whereas the battery, I borrowed the RH1 from Rock. It's a beautiful unit. Looks a lot like the R37, which is a reason I really like it. But the battery, look at this. Look at that. It is, it, it's not going to spring open by itself, and it's not too hard to get open. And the battery just pops right out. It's a big, nice, easily accessible battery door. The body is, except for right here, right that seam, it is solid, as as solid as one of these slimline bodies can be. It's got a great array for optical, microphone, and of course your remote and just regular headphone output. A decent long display to see what's going on. Battery life's just okay. I think between 12 and 17 hours of playback and something like 6 to 8 hours of record. The button array is horrible. It's got a little joystick here. So you go plus volume, down volume, track back, track forward, and play pause, all in a tiny little control. And then next to it aren't controls for stop and all that. It's menu, group, and T mark. And a lot of the editing has to be done using the remote control. So it's a bugger to use, but it is rock solid. In terms of sound, if I were just to give sound quality, all things being equal, They say nothing could be 10. Let's say 9 out of 10. This is as good as I've heard. This would be an 8. And for functionality, it has everything you need, and it does high MD. The big problem, of course, is that you have to use remote control for it, and titling isn't quite as nice as Panasonic. Sorry. So for recording sort of quality in terms of how you interact with it, I would give this thing 6 to 7. And Sony have a lot of better ones that are 8 and 9 range. So yeah, that's it. Martin. Yeah, man, there's a family. It's a family show. It's a family show. I could right now, of the 5 people watching, I can tell you for sure that none of them are kids, but eventually, it's possible there'll be a kid here, or some of the people that are watching will have kids. So I consider myself to be a part of a movement that will eventually have kids. Well, it's the same thing outside. When I go outside, I'll see people that will eventually have kids. So yeah, I'm part of a family world. Good times. Peace. Keep healthy. Yeah, guys, thank you. I'm 16 this year. Sir Jeff is 16. See that, man? I'm glad that word got filtered out through YouTube. 16. Maybe that's a kid. No, I don't know if it's a kid. I called my. I don't remember. I'm 40. I don't remember what year until when I called myself a kid. Don't remember. I remember thinking when I was a boy to a man. Uh, yeah, you're not a kid. You're like a. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, but we will. You'll eventually have a kid. So Martin, none of those words, man. None of those words. None of those words. All right. Shame on you. Shame on you. Not really, but guys, thank you very much. Sir Jeff, thank you very much. Martin, thank you very much. Align, thank you very much. I can't believe you guys carried the show and sat through this entire time, even though I failed the ASMR. I will come back and try to do the ASMR. Not sure what happened, but when I do, it'll be a little bit less a show for kids because it'll be mouth sounds and all that, and you'll sound like I'm not a hot woman, and I don't want you to think about how hot women when I'm behind the microphone, uh, like touching it with Minidisc and stuff like that. But I really want to do the ASMR because I want the idea was to get you to close your guys' eyes and lay back and try to guess which MD recorder it was. Like I would show you first and then you do it with your eyes closed and all that. And I thought it would be pretty cool. However, we had some problems. But if that thing doesn't work out, what I will do later on is we'll just do it in mono, and you'll have to sound everything will have to sound like it's in my mouth anyway. It'll work out. We'll try it again. Thank you very much, all of you guys. All of you all did really good, and I'm really glad you stayed here and supported me. We say goodbye in French with a heavy non-French accent. We say au revoir. So thank you, and to Martin, your English. So we say how do you say goodbye in English? Um, Good evening. Good evening to you, Martin. So Jeff, don't know where you're from, so I'll just say toodaloo. And that everyone? Everyone? Anyone else? 4 guys? Yeah, it's just you guys right now. So thank you very much. See you later. If we can do another one tomorrow, we'll do it. We'll come back with ASMR or fake ASMR. See ya. So there's some Chinese stuff there. Jiaola, Jiaola, something. I don't know. Bye bye. See you guys. Thank you very much. Buy a hat, $20. Hit my Patreon up. It's in the description. Bye bye. Oh yeah, that was awesome.